Welcome to the Board of Select Persons meeting for Tuesday, January 7th, 2025. We are in person and hybrid. Nikki is not here this evening, and Matt is in via hybrid Zoom. I will have call to order and pledge, reports, managers and financial, under communications, the opera fund reconciliation. Under new business, we have an opera fund acceptance, Main State dog letter of support, an escrow request, and payables. And with that, we can do the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So Matt, I guess we can just jump right into the manager's report.
Okay, manager report for 7 January. I attended the RSU manager breakfast. We agreed to meet in January, which will be on the 22nd, to discuss how the surplus funds are going to be used. The goal is to make sure everybody is treating those in the same manner. Nothing nefarious at all about that, but we just want to make sure we're all speaking the same language so that when we talk to people in different towns, everybody knows how those funds will be treated. The AFCOG Executive Committee, we met, we reviewed financial reports, various loan programs, and other routine updates. Wanted to give you just a snapshot of some part-time and shared positions that we are looking at. I met with the Gloucester Town Manager and discussed the possibility of sharing a position, which would be a planner. They have had trouble keeping a full-time planner, and we're getting to the point where I'm going to want to have someone come in to help our code enforcement officer, not so much to be there for customers, but to help him with his work. He's gone from 200 permits per year to now 600, and he's just not, he needs a little help there. But I'm also looking at a part-time deputy clerk or admin assistant to take some administrative tasks on. And those had come off of Nikki's plate. What we've found is when she first came over to the executive assistant position, she brought a lot of administrative duties with her. She used to work in the code enforcement office, and those have only grown, particularly in regards to election support with the registrar, her being the registrar of voters. So neither of these positions are in next year's budget, but there's something that we're looking at. I just want to give you a sense for some of the tempo that we're looking at in the office and how we might want to address it. The town office emergency generator, most of the electrical work is complete. The new propane line's installed. The pad's been poured. We're ready for the generator in February, and looking forward to getting that done. The ice rink's installed. We're not waiting on colder weather anymore. It looks like it's cold enough now. And people have been out on it skating. The ASO recreation building furnace, that furnace is not working. It's not cost effective to repair that, so we're installing heat pumps and removing the old furnace and oil tank, and that should be taking place in the next couple of weeks. And pending any questions, that's the manager report.
Hey Matt, I got a question, John.
Yeah.
On those part-time positions, what's the skill set you're looking for?
We haven't really decided that yet. The planner is, that's pretty self-evident there. The administrative assistant one would be mainly ability to do word processing, and then they're going to have to learn some registrar of voter tasks, and there's probably a couple other things that would be involved with that as well, newsletter and some other items.
Thank you.
Matt, I've got two questions. On the deputy clerk, is that something we should look at to put in for this coming budget?
We talked about that.
Judy may be retiring?
Well, I'm not sure yet. And I'm not sure when Judy wants to retire. One thing I do not, when she decides to retire, that's gotta be her decision. I mean, she's been here, the better part of 50 years, I think almost 50 years, that's, she gets to drive that train. And I don't want to put any pressure on her by having this part-time position looming on the horizon. But I don't think, we're not going to be spending that much money for this part-time position. It won't be that expensive. And I think that with the way the salaries will move around when she leaves and a new person comes in, and we may have some room to do that.
Okay, that's just, where in the past she had mentioned about maybe retiring after the election. Believe me, I don't want to see her go.
Yeah, nobody does.
That, if we have some, good overlap so that the new person can get quite a bit of training from her. The other thing, on the heat pumps, where it's this type of situation, do we have to go out with an RFP? Do we have to go out to bid on that, or?
No, this is a repair, and we're using an existing contract to get this fixed. We've got to get it fixed pretty quick. The deputies are not happy. They're too cold.
That was ultimately gonna be my question was, so they're cold now, and how much longer are they cold, and how about the recreation side of things? How are they getting through this if they don't?
Yeah, what we did is we bought a couple of electric heaters, and those are keeping people warm enough.
They can move their office over to Poland Provisions. I mean, they've got internet over this.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Matt.
You're
Has
welcome.
an agreement reached with everybody in discussion of the surplus funds? And I'm assuming that has to do with how the budget was reduced and taxes were already committed. So is
Yeah,
everyone kind of handling them the same? Or did you discover any deviation to your initial thoughts on that?
Yeah, that was, so the surplus funds are the funds that we committed taxes with an RSU budget that was higher. They ultimately assessed us with a budget that was lower, and that's the difference. That's a surplus I'm talking about.
Right,
And
yeah.
we just want to make sure that we're all speaking the same language here of how those funds are going to be treated, and more to follow on that.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Anything else? If not, let's go to page 3 in the financials.
Okay, we're 53.85% through the year. The revenue is doing fine, just our motor vehicle excise is tracking, so we're pretty happy about that. On the expense side of the house, I don't really have anything to report. We're on track. The couple of things that are over are because, for example, beach maintenance, that's been over for a long time. We do the maintenance in the summer. And law enforcement, that's at 73.55. That's a timing issue. Everything else appears to be on track, and pending any questions, that's a financial report.
I'll entertain a motion.
Because I do have a question to ask afterwards.
Yeah,
I move that we accept the financial reports as presented.
thank you. And a second?
I second.
Discussion, Dan?
Now, question, on the solar array, we've saved $39,000 since it started. For the next meeting, could you ask them what our savings would have been if we owned it? Because I know I don't remember what the percentage was, and I don't remember the initial cost. I'm thinking it was 500, something like that.
Yeah, okay, yeah, let me look at that, Stan. I'm not sure that I can answer that question, because I've got to get, I'm not sure, I don't know how I'll answer that, but let me look at it and get back to you.
I didn't know if revision could give you the information.
They might be able to, but, we'll see.
Okay. So if you could find something out, thank you.
I remember the figure for the buyout at the 6-year point, but I don't
I think
remember
that
the
was
initial
like
cost.
$260 or something
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah,
And I don't remember the initial cost, because I'm wondering if we got the full credit on this, where we would have stood at this point, just for an informational thing, compared to what we would have bought it for. Some kind of an idea.
Is there a service contract with that too?
they take care of all of it because we don't own it.
Right, if we owned it.
No, if
would
we owned
be
it,
able
We
to?
would be
After
responsible.
after the first couple of years or something,
Yeah.
then we would have had to pay a service contract.
Yeah.
Any other discussion on financials? If not, we could take a roll call. John?
Yes.
Stan?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, moving on down to the ARPA fund acceptance.
First thing we had was the ARPA fund reconciliation.
Oh, I'm sorry, yep, I jumped by communications, yep, so that's on page 22.
And what we wanted to do is show everybody what we spent our ARPA money on. And that's just a recapitulation of what those funds went to. So we're in good shape there.
So just to verbalize it, so in ARPA funding, the town received $597,105.36. And the expenditures that we ultimately did to tally to all of that over the last couple of years, 3 years, I get 3 years, is that, am I saying that correct?
Yeah, I think we've had it for about 3 years now.
Was $6,000 for the food bank donation that the board authorized. We were able to authorize $50,000 to go towards paving. We did $48,700 for hazard pay related to the pandemic. We did another $50,000 for road work. We were able to spend $67,551 for power stretchers for our ambulances. We then did $207,454 for the HIVAC for the whole town office. $22,250 for code enforcement vehicle. We put another $50,000 towards the road CIP. $61.50 for public works vehicle. Another $50,000 to go towards the stormwater for our municipal park. And we were able to put nearly $39,000 towards the library renovation that will happen in the future. So that's just the sum of it. I wanted to verbalize it.
Just one clarification on the public works vehicle. It was 6,150. Just don't want anybody to think it was 61,000.
Oh, thank you, Stan. Sorry for that.
Just a quick
I didn't
question.
get that either.
Who received the hazard pay? I'm just curious, which departments?
All departments received hazard pay, and it was, if you made above a certain salary level, you did not receive hazard pay. So it was geared toward the folks that were on the lower end of the pay scale.
Gotcha. Thank you.
This total does not include, or I guess, whatever happened with the additional potential ARPA funds that we would get for library, is that included in here, or is that still to come? Or was it?
That's the next thing we'll talk about.
Okay,
I think
Yeah,
that's what you're getting
yeah,
at.
you're referring to from the county?
yes,
Yeah.
He'll
Yeah, that's the next
That's the
one.
next item.
okay, cool, thanks.
So with that, moving on to the next item.
Very next page.
Um,
Sorry for stealing your thunder, Matt.
Go ahead, Matt, you did all the heavy lifting, so I'll let you talk about this.
So on December 18th, the county commissioners voted to allocate $149,610 in unobligated county ARPA funds to help with the library expansion project and recommend the board accept these funds. That was a a real long shot when we started to, we asked for that money. I honestly didn't think we'd get anything. But about a month and a half ago, I asked the county commissioner if he could give me a list of, hey, what'd you spend the ARPA money on? I was just curious, and he was kind enough to do that. And I saw that they had some unobligated funds at the end of it, and thought we'd take a swing and see what we could get. But I think the real reason we got those funds is that we had to go twice. The second time, there was a lot of folks that were there, a number of people from the select board, from the library, our architectural firm, that were all there, and those people comprised the entirety of the audience, except for one person that was there asking for money, and they didn't get anything. But that is why I think the county commissioners were that's what swayed the day. It was a real team effort, and so we're lucky to have those funds.
Well, you did a nice job with the presentation, Matt.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So with that, I will accept a motion to accept these funds.
I move that we accept the ARPA funds from the Androscoggin County Commissioners in the amount of $149,610 to go towards the library project, expansion project.
Thank you, Stan. Have a second?
I second.
Mary Beth seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none. John?
Yes.
Stan?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
And yes.
Thank you, ladies. So, no, it was great. That's gonna be
Yeah.
a nice shot in the arm. And while we're talking a little bit about the library things, have you heard anything from our federal legislatures to anything from a budgetary standpoint going through? I know that there was some funds out there that we hope to have more of.
Yeah, so what Steve's been talking about is the congressional directed spending that Susan Collins has is championing for us. That was in the amount of $750,000. That is part of the federal budget. It hasn't been cut out yet, but the federal budget is in a state of flux right now. We've got a new administration coming in, and it'll be a while before that budget is signed by the president. Once it's signed, then we'll have the ability to access the funds, go through that process. But I haven't seen anything that, or heard anything that says that the funds are likely to be cut.
Good, thanks, Matt. Next is on page 24. It is a letter to the Maine State House being drawn up to be signed by us if we are willing as a board, to say that the town of Poland strongly supports the initiative to make Sepala, Siberian sled dog, the Maine state dog. And given its history with everything with Togo and everything, and Poland Spring and everything, then that's what this letter deals with. So I'll open it up for discussion at this point. Comments?
Just appreciate Matt putting this together, and being on the Preservation Society board. It's something that I'm in favor of, and I'm just hoping that the people in the legislature will go along with it. I've spoken to a couple of legislators. It sounds like they'd back it, and it just has to go through the process.
Oh, a beautifully written letter.
Well, you have to thank my wife because she helped with it.
Excellent spelling and penmanship.
Good
Great.
teammate.
I'll entertain a motion to sign this letter, if that's the will.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second that.
Thank you, Lisa. I'll get a first and second.
Second.
No other discussion? Then, John?
Yes.
Stan?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
And yes.
Thank you all. And so I have it here. So we will sign that when we're done. Moving on to page 25, the next item on the agenda is Daniel Boyd has requested the release of his remaining, there is a typo there, escrow for his account in the amount of $320. And we're the only ones that can authorize to do that. So if there's no objection, I'll entertain a motion to that effect.
Make a motion that we release the funds in the amount of $320 in the escrow account for Daniel Boyd.
Second that.
Thank you, Lisa. Okay, John?
Yes.
Stan?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you all. So that is approved.
This was one of the properties that Scott had come and chatted with us about. Was this one of those?
I don't recall what
Okay.
Scott came to do.
Okay, so I'm thinking
It's
about
just
something
Yeah,
different.
it's a project that he's done. I think his house is up for sale. He built a new house
Okay.
behind
Yep.
the property, and just all the things related to that. I guess there was some escrow required,
Okay.
and whatever, in the whole planning board process. I can't speak any more to it. I don't know if you have any more insight, Matt.
Just curious, it's fine. It sounds very complicated.
Yeah, so I mean, it's part of the planning board process with certain development things. We're going to see certain criteria, that there's an escrow that's established.
Gotcha.
And, you know, that's used to pay all of the fees of whomever needs to go through and
Okay.
pay and do. And
Okay.
then, okay, whatever money's left over gets to go back to the
Gotcha.
originator.
Very good.
That's, in a high-level view, that's how I best
That's-
understand that, so, and what the escrow is ultimately for, so. Great, we're on to payables, Stan.
I make a motion that we pay our bills for the fiscal year 2025 in the amount of $1,104,485.76.
Second?
Thank you, John. John?
Yes.
Stan?
Yes.
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 Thank you all. With that, we have approved that, so we're hustling right along to any other business. John?
No, Happy New Year, everybody.
Matt, is it next meeting that we're gonna have some results for the bids on the library expansion, or that's when they're due?
The bids are due on the 13th, this coming Monday at 1 o'clock in the conference room where we are now. We will hope to have a recommendation at the meeting on the 21st. I spoke to our architect earlier today, and they think they're going to get at least 3 bids, possibly 4, based on the number of questions and interest from contractors. So that's a very good sign.
Oh, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's really good. Anything else? That's all I was gonna say as well, is Happy New Year to everybody. And if it's gonna precipitate, it needs to be white this time of
Yes,
year.
please.
So that
Absolutely.
we can take advantage of all of that, and for all the businesses and all the regions and things to support that type of activity for this time of the year.
And our wells.
And our gardens are gonna need it. Yep.
Our well, our garden.
The only thing this was more of a reminder for us internally of our workshop session tomorrow with the CDC and planning board. Matt, do you know who from the town will be present to that?
I don't know, Nikki had planned on going, but I don't think she's gonna make it
Yeah.
based on her health status.
And I'm not able because it's my first budget with the school board meeting, so I'll
Oh,
do
sure.
that.
Good for you. We're gonna be talking about putting a bowling alley in.
Marianne, anything else? Lisa?
Not for me. Excuse me, I will say it's exciting to see the progress of our new car wash
Oh, yeah.
opening. Yeah.
Anybody heard a date when they might open? Okay.
So with that, if nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Seconded.
Thank you. John,
Yes.
Stan?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
And yes.
thank you both. So with that, we'll say good night and see you on the 21st.
Yep.